Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roach.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
This is our new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. We are here the day before the latest veto ceremony, and once again, in the world of Vince and Morgan, this is the most dramatic decision that has ever been made in Big Brother history.
It seems to be. I mean, this is just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
They are so exhausting to listen to sometimes because it feels like, as of right now, we have a reasonably solidified idea as to what's going to happen with this veto ceremony, but it's sort of like, at the same time, much of this is facilitated by long conversations with Vince and Morgan, and we're sort of waiting for the other shoe to drop with Vince and Lauren, because then is that going to make Vince flip all over again?
Yeah, it's just, oh my God. He just needs to make a decision. He's not able to continue to balance these two alliances anymore. He's going to have to just choose a side.
Yeah, so we're in this interesting position right now where we've got the Vince and Morgan soap opera going on. We have Keanu running around doing delusional Keanu things where he feels like he's going to be safe or that the veto's going to be used on him. We've got Ashley, who's just sort of working behind the scenes to scoop up all of these possible allies.
Yes,
And it's just
she
like,
is.
Ashley really is in a spot where she's playing the best game at this point, because it's just
She
like,
is.
even if she goes on the block somehow this week and she's in a little bit of danger, it's just like she's just building all of these social relationships behind the scenes and just letting Vince and Morgan just be the face of this judge's operation.
Absolutely. She is scooping up votes here all over the place. It is pretty amazing to watch her work right now.
Yeah, okay. Well, we have so much to get into with all of that, but before we dive further into it here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we are here with Big Brother 27 live feed updates every single day. We're having a great time talking with you guys about the game in the comments, and by subscribing, of course, you're helping to make sure you don't miss any other coverage we have coming here.
Thank you so much to everyone who helped us reach a huge milestone here at our channel last night, which was 80,000
Yes.
subscribers. It is mind-boggling to us. We cannot thank you enough for helping us get to this. We had a little celebration. We've got pictures up on our Instagram. If you do want to head over to our Instagram and follow us there, it is also Matt and Just TV, but we have some pictures up from the celebration that we had so that you guys can be part of it. We truly can't thank you enough. This has been incredible.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We are like eternally grateful for that. Okay, so as of right now, very big keywords here. It looks like Vince might actually nominate Lauren this week. Like, this move that just feels completely baffling for him to make on some level, it might actually go through.
Yeah, it is, I'm sure, tiring to have these conversations with Morgan and Morgan with Vince over and over and over and over again. I hate to say it, because putting up an ally is the absolute worst move. Vince knows, he's got to know that if he is putting her on the block after how hard Morgan has been fighting and fighting and fighting to get her on the block, she is not safe. She is going. Like, there's no way that Morgan is fighting this hard so that Lauren can be safe on the block. Vince knows he's going to end up losing her. And at this point, I think if Vince really wants to find a way to win this game, he has to just pick a side. You can only play both sides for so long before you Tyler the situation and you made too many final twos and too many, alliances, and then you don't win.
I think he is working way too hard to think about this game, not to get like so weirdly philosophical about Big Brother, but he feels like he's almost trying to play with this utilitarian standpoint of like, okay, what move is going to have the smallest amount of pain, where it's like, okay, if I nominate Lauren, maybe I will lose her as an ally, but I will placate Morgan. I will, to some extent, placate Ashley. Keanu won't be too mad at me because Keanu wants Lauren to go. So I think he's just like thinking, okay, if I do go through with all of this, these people won't be mad. I'll only have one person mad, because Ava and Kelly, they don't really want to work with me at this point anyway. But it's just like, yeah, you can do all of that, and all of this I'm saying may be true, but the idea of Big Brother is you want to play a game that the jury at the end of it is really going to respect. And are they going to respect you basically being pressured into putting one of your top allies on the block?
Absolutely. This is going to lose Vince the game, and it's really sad to see because I mean, I've been a Vince defender,
Yes.
that he has been playing a really strong game for most of this season. He was one of the more strategic players this season in a season filled with really bad strategic players.
Yes.
But he has really botched his game. This HOH that he has won, he should have just not won it. I am way back on this again, where you should not have won it. You should have just let Kelly win it, and you should have just battled your way off the block. This was not the one to win, and it is turning into the end of your game.
It might end up being that way at this point, just because of the fact that, yeah, sure, you might be able to get second place out of all of this, but it's just like, isn't it better to run a risk and win the game and have like something you can definitively stand on as your move? Because like this is a part of the funny thing that happened yesterday. So Vincent Morgan had a lot to drink. We'll just start by saying that. They're talking pretty openly about.
So did we last night. We are all playing Catan and celebrating.
I was on another planet at a various point in that Catan game. I was actually
Too many bottles of wine.
I was a little bit better at Catan actually than I usually am. I'm just throwing that out there. But okay, so in the midst of all of this, Vince even brought up the Morgan, this just like idea of, okay, if I go through all of this and I put Lauren on the block, isn't the jury just going to be like, oh, you are just playing Morgan's game, that Morgan really controls your HOH, which I'm sitting back and I'm like,
Correct.
yeah, that's 100% true. And Morgan is just trying to be like, no, 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 that's not it. They'll respect you because you've made this big move that people won't see. She's a really good spin doctor. Like, I'll give Morgan credit for that. Like, she really is trying to sell Vince on this idea that he will garner some respect for doing this move that just feels completely crazy on paper.
No, he's not going to get any respect for this move. I don't know why he would ever believe this. Morgan would and should get the credit for this move. She has put in the time and the work into badgering him to get her on the block, to be able to get her out, to actually get Vince to put his own ally on the block, someone who used the veto on him.
Yeah.
He is going to look like a clown.
Yes, that's not even getting into what you mentioned earlier, the idea that, okay, if Lauren's sitting there on the block on eviction night, it doesn't really matter what Morgan and Ashley and other people have said. It's like, they may still try on some level to get Lauren out. It's just, here's where things get difficult. And this is where I will admit I'm starting to get even a little bit confused about what the point of this whole Morgan plan is anyway when it comes to Lauren, because let's all have some real talk here for a moment. That if Morgan really wants Lauren out this week, she needs to use the veto on Keanu. And I know that this sounds crazy, but it's just like she will need to be in a situation where she has the votes to take Lauren out. And if she just removes Ava from the block, which that seems to be the plan, it's like Ava's probably not going to vote to get rid of Lauren. The best case scenario is that maybe you force a tie if you and Ashley vote one way, and then you have Ava and, if Kelly wins the blockbuster, Kelly voting on some other direction, and then Vince is going to break a tie, and it's like you're going to trust Vince to get rid of Lauren in that situation?
Yeah, no, you just need to take Keanu off the block. If you're going to put up Lauren, put up Lauren. Kelly wins the blockbuster, and then, that's how you're able to get it done.
Yeah, like you have to be willing to do something like that, because it feels like it's really hard to read with Morgan. Like, what's your actual end game right now? Because it's like, if you want to take Lauren out this week, you need to just be as gung-ho as you can be about it without making Vince like too paranoid or worried about it.
Late.
I know.
Oh my God. If I was Vince, this is what's so wild to me about it. If I was Vince, I would absolutely feel like she has pushed so hard for so many days, for so many hours, that there is no way that the plan isn't to just get Lauren out. If the plan is to get somebody else out, then why are you pushing this hard? Vince cannot be this blind.
Yeah, it's just the weirdest thing to me is that it just feels like she's walking around with this idea of, I just need Lauren on the block for the sake of having Lauren on the block. Because
It's not good enough.
if that's the case, then you're basically just doing the same thing that Keanu did when he nominated Vince, when it's just like, oh, I'm trying to send a message. And what's the message this time? You just want to see that Vince is willing to do this, and then that's it?
Yeah, no, and that isn't the message. The message is that she wants Vince to choose between the two of them, and that's what she wants.
Yeah, and so it's just like
So just say it, Morgan. Just say it. Just be like, you have to choose between the two of us. I'm your number one, and if I'm your number one, then you need to send out your number one.
I'm sitting back so frustrated this week because I'm just like, what's the point of all of this? Like, what's the point of this, Morgan?
Jealousy?
Yeah, if it is just like, yeah, I want to get Lauren on the block, but we won't take her out because we don't want to make you mad. Vince, just like, well, you're going through all of this already, making Vince mad.
Yeah, for what reason?
It's just all of this is just like so unbelievably confusing and strange. Like right now, it seems like the hypothetical idea here is like, okay, well, let's say Ava does go off the block here, Lauren goes up. It feels like, all right, well, then Kelly is apparently leaving if she is on the block no matter what, which means somehow we might have a theoretical situation where Keanu stays even if he does not win the blockbuster, which is insane to me.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's hard to know. It's so early on.
Yeah, then we're also in this situation where if it ends up being Lauren versus Keanu probably goes on that venture. And I mean, here's the other part of this that's really interesting. Vince is off here promising Keanu. It's just like, if it's you and Lauren up there together, Keanu, don't worry, I'll save you. And this has got to be one of the more delusional things that Keanu has believed over the past several weeks.
Vince is just betraying him over and over. If Keanu ends up on the jury and votes for Vince after how many times Vince has clowned him, like, I don't know what is going on here. Like, you can't send people out feeling like a clown. You just can't. And I've said this before, I stand on it. Like, it's not about being a bitter juror. It's about playing jury management where people leave the game feeling good about themselves. You can't let him go out feeling like this, where you're going to tell him you're going to save him and you're just hoping that situation doesn't come up. And then it comes up and then he goes out feeling like a clown.
Yeah, and this is Keanu especially. We've talked about this, that Keanu fashions himself as a warrior who has a very specific code in the game. And like, he's even talked, like, just before we started recording, he was talking a little bit about this idea of, okay, Vince, I would like to vote for you, but it feels like the big exception to the rule here is if it's a case where he and Kelly are on the block together after all of this, and Vince told him previously he would break a tie and keep Keanu, that if he backstabs Keanu in that way, Keanu's just going to be completely done with them. And he's being very, very upfront about this because this is what Keanu does. He is the polar opposite of Vince in this way.
He is, but then he also rolls back on things as well, as many people do. This isn't just him. I mean, we already had him put Vince on the block to teach him a lesson and roll it on back as the HOH campaigning for him. So you never really know where he's going to actually land when the time comes.
And this is where I also, once again, am like, okay, Vince, if Morgan is so insistent on using this veto, like, can you just go ahead and try to tilt it towards Keanu being safe? That you can break up this other 3-person alliance. You seemingly want Ava out of here. That's probably not going to happen. But can you get Kelly out of here? Like, at one point last night, Morgan did say, oh, I will save Keanu if you agree to put Lauren up, which I don't really believe. They were drunk. But it's just, it was an idea that was thrown out there because Keanu is still making these ridiculous final 2 promises to Vince. And it's like, you really shouldn't want Keanu to go if that is the case.
Absolutely. I mean, really, Vince needs to get away from Morgan right now and find out, if he can, where the votes are really going to end up if Lauren is on the block. Like, I know people are probably going to lie, but for the most part, Vince, at least earlier in the game, has been able to read people really well. I don't know where his mind is now anymore these days, so who knows if he can still do that.
And I think what's even making it so much harder is that Vince is basically at this point a vessel for everyone else to just dump all this information into, to the point where, and Vince has frustrated me at times. I've admired his game at other times. I'll say the The
Yes.
one thing I probably have a little bit of sympathy for him right now is just that he is being hit with so many crazy angles at once, where Morgan's pushing really, really hard one way. We saw Lauren push him really, really hard before the nomination ceremony, and like that's probably still going to happen. And then you have someone like Keanu who's basically coming to him at this point and being like, if you play a cowardly game, yeah, you have a good chance of going to Final Four, but guess what? You'll go to Final Four with me, Lauren, Morgan, and guess what? You're going to lose to all of us. You are only guaranteed second place, which I'm just sitting here and being like, why are you telling him this again, Keanu?
I know.
Yeah, he's just telling him, oh, you have a great chance of getting $75,000. And it's like, well, that's not nothing. Wouldn't you be happy to have that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Vince is just very, very worried about, the perception if he gets rid of Lauren. He's very worried about what his game is going to be moving
And
forward.
he should be. He's making
Yes.
terrible mistakes right now. He needs to just put his foot down on it and be like, Morgan, I want to work with you. I'm going to continue to work with you, but I am not putting up Lauren. If you use the veto, Ashley's going up. You make your choice. And I know that he's never going to say that, but that's really what he needs to do.
Yeah,
What's Morgan going to do? There's only a certain
I
amount
know,
of people that are left in the house. She doesn't have like a whole bunch of choices here.
Keanu's waiting for you, Morgan, with open. He said this last. This is
Oh my
it's
God,
hilarious.
Vince, reel it, button it up.
So Keanu said to Morgan last night, he was just like, Morgan, if you're really mad at Vince and you're looking for a new number one ally, I'm right here. I don't know if he meant it to be funny, but it was really, really funny. And it's just like, this is how desperate Keanu is for allies at this point.
Absolutely. Then there's not that many people left in the game.
No, but the truth of it is, it's just that Morgan doesn't have that many options. And it's just like, she's probably going to stick with Vince no matter what. She'll be upset about this vote, but it's just like, if she wins HOH at the double and Lauren's still there, it's like she has an opportunity to get rid of Lauren then, and then she can just go ahead and make that happen at that point.
I just feel like I know I'm dying on this hill, but it just feels like Morgan wants it specifically to be Vince. She
Yes.
wants him to pick her over Lauren, and that it doesn't matter if it's Morgan gets out Lauren or Ava gets out Lauren or whoever gets out Lauren. None of that is going to be satisfying to her. She needs it to be Vince to prove his loyalty.
Yeah, and I understand why she feels this way. She's been frustrated by a lot of the decisions that he has made. Like, I get that.
I get it, but how satisfying is it really,
Well, yeah.
Morgan, to have to badger somebody into basically being like, okay, I choose you? Days and days and days of badgering someone to be like, all right, I'm broken down now. All right, I choose you. Oh, cool. That feels so good. My heart is overflowing. There's just going to end up still being more and more after it. If Lauren ends up going, these two, mark my words, are going to continue to have these same conversations where Morgan's like, well, why did it take you so long
I
to
know,
get to
I
that?
know.
Like, why did I have to have 500 conversations? It's like, oh, God, like you're not actually getting what you want.
Well, and the other thing about it is because all this badgering is happening and they've just spent hours and hours and hours and staying up till the middle of the night talking about all this, it's just painting this enormous target on both of them, because it's just like, everyone knew they were a duo before, obviously, but it's just like, you're making it so much worse on yourself because you're acting like you were the only two people in the house who are constantly thinking this strategically. And if I was a strategic player in the game right now, I would be a little bit like, I'm still here. You could talk a little bit to me. It's just like, do you guys really value each other so much that all the rest of us are just dirt?
Yeah, Vince needs to get out of this conversation with Morgan and start actually working other angles. Like, he is really isolating himself. He is
Yeah.
doing this to himself.
He is doing this to himself. And you've said this, that he's probably going in the double because of it. And,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
there's
he is.
a very, very good chance of that. And like,
Yes.
all of these conversations are keeping Lauren from having a lot of conversations with Vince. Like, she's had a little bit. Like, the only real pitch she's been able to make at this point is just like, you and I, we can have a Final Four with Ava and Kelly. And it's just like, okay, Lauren, well, I understand you don't want to go on the block, but you need a better pitch than this because Vince already knows that Ava's coming for him. He knows.
Vince and Kelly?
Yeah, like he knows Kelly is not to be trusted. It's just like
No.
you have to go to him with a little bit something more specific. And yeah,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be in this position because you haven't done anything wrong to Vince. Like you've proven that you trust him and you're willing to work with him. But
Yes.
these are desperate times. You kind of have to go in here and, I don't know, go for some desperate measures, try to present something that's a little bit more appetizing.
Yeah, I mean, she does. At the same time, I mean, you've got Morgan that's been badgering Vince for days and days and days. And while he might put Lauren on the block, it has taken a lot of convincing. Like, he does not want to do this.
Lauren just remains frustrating to me as a player just because
Yeah.
it's like, there's the whole I don't know uncertainty thing, and then there's the whole regret of it. Like Lauren has now spoken multiple times about how much she regrets throwing the veto last week because she didn't want all the power and so on and so. But it's like you had an opportunity to maybe defeat Morgan at that point and make some sort of move to make the game easier on you, and you didn't do it. So you are in this position now where, yeah, it's going to take a pretty specific set of circumstances to get you out of the game this week. But I mean, it could still happen. And in that way, you don't really have that many people to blame other than just yourself.
Yes.
Okay, well, now let's talk a little bit about Ashley and what Ashley is kind of doing underneath the surface of all of this, and some stuff that's just like really, really smart.
Most improved player. I mean, this has been a pretty wretched group of players that have done a terrible job this season. Bad players.
Yeah.
Most improved player. Absolutely.
100%. She's gone from Showergate to somebody who it just feels like a lot of people are going to want to work with, and a lot of people are going to think a lot about, like, okay, you know, is she going to be able to get a lot of votes? And I think she can position herself really well. Like, she had a conversation with all of us that we got a little bit in her headspace where she admitted, and this was really interesting, she's just like, I know I can't go to the final two with Morgan because Morgan is going to beat me. So she's already thinking about that angle, even if, you know, if Vince goes, Morgan probably would want to go to final two with her, but she's just like, okay, that's not a super viable option for me. She's talking about wanting to go to the final two with Kelly, where I'm like, okay, that's a very, very smart idea. You might have to get rid of Kelly still this week, you know, if push comes to shove. You can't like go against your judge's alliance in that way, but I like the idea that she's thinking a little bit about this.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone should want to bring Kelly to the end. Everyone's going to beat Kelly.
Yeah, like she doesn't have any sort of case. She's played terribly. She continues to play terribly.
The biggest problem is just her social game and the jury management. It's just, I don't think anyone's going to give her the win.
No, they're not. It doesn't matter how many blockbusters and whatever. Like it seems
it's not enough.
Yeah, like it seems like Kelly's excited about the idea of potentially facing off with Keanu because they're the blockbuster wars. It's like, okay, good for you, Kelly, but that's not the whole point of the game. The idea is you should try to not be on the block.
Yeah, I mean, if she beats him, I would be really disappointed in this season because he has worked extremely hard. As bad of a player as he has been at many times, he has never given up, and he has continued to work every angle he could possibly work. He really has played this game.
He really has, and he really wants to stay. And he's even delusional at this point, thinking he has a chance to go off the block or that he's safe no matter what, or all the typical Keanu stuff, but he's still trying and talking and doing everything that he can. Now, Ashley is sort of looking across the board here and thinking a lot about options and what are some things that could work really well for her, because I think she was in an advantageous position because she was so close to Rachel, and it's not like she was only talking to Rachel or anything, but because Rachel's a pretty blunt player, you kind of know where Rachel stands a lot of the time. Ashley was luckily in a spot for a lot of the game where she didn't have to lie as much as someone like Vince, who has built up this reputation at this point. So Ashley can go to Ava, and they can sort of formulate a possible final two that they may be calling C'est la vie, but it's something that works because, you know, Ava was so close to Will. Will was so close to Ashley. So it's like transitive property of Big Brother. Now, the two of them can be really, really close together.
Absolutely.
And then Ashley has also, you know, continued to talk about a possible final two with Morgan. We know how she really feels about that now, but that's out there. And then we have the dream that I'm trying not to let go of Keanu and Ashley, even though Ashley was so mad at him yesterday.
I know.
But it's just like, that is still out there as well. And like, there's a very faint possibility still that Ashley goes on the block this week. And, we'll see what happens if that does transpire.
Mhm.
But from where it sits, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. It does still feel like if Morgan feels like there is even a slight possibility that Ashley's going to be a replacement nominee, like she's not going to use it, because then it's like, okay, well, then Vince will have burned her. That whole situation's just gone completely falling apart. And then she's also lost Ashley, because then Ashley's going to be like, okay, you put all your trust in this guy at the expense of me. Like, was that really worth it?
Yeah, Vince is in a no-win situation now. I honestly just don't see him being able to win this game at all. There's not enough time to turn around the mess that he's made this week.
Yeah, and like, I know he has been good at cleaning up messes, but I think the problem
Too
is
close to the end now.
it is too close to the end. And like, the way in which he typically cleans up messes is with these long, drawn out conversations. He's only going to have a minute to speak to the jury. He's going to have to be blunt. And if there's one thing Vince is not, he's not blunt. And that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, they don't know that the double is coming up. This
Yeah.
double is going to come up, and Vince is going to be gone.
Well, we'll see what happens between now and the veto ceremony. I'm sure Lauren is going to try to fight back here, try to say, like, it would not surprise me ultimately one way or another, like, if Lauren's not put up on the block or if she is. Like,
Yeah.
I do think that this could go either way, and there will probably be 100 more flip-flops.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just spend a moment here before we wrap up talking a little bit more about Vince and Keanu in this situation, because Keanu is running around a lot still with this belief that there is a very good chance that the veto ends up being used on him, or at the very least that he's going to be safe no matter what. So like, the question then becomes, okay, if you're Vince, are you going to continue to allow him to believe these things even if the results don't pan out that way? Because here is the problem with how Keanu has continued to be treated while being on the block.
Yeah.
He's a huge blockbuster threat. Like, we
Yes.
all know this. And with the double coming, Keanu has shown he can win a wide array of competitions. Vince, you may not know for sure a double is coming, but this is Big Brother. The double almost always happens every season.
Yep.
Do you really want to run the risk that Keanu's going to stay? He's still going to feel betrayed because you did not do various things you told him he was going to do. You're not going to have time to go in and smooth this situation over, and then he is going to destroy you in the double.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that could happen.
I feel like Vince is going to have to be honest with Keanu at some point this week. If
He won't.
He-
He
I
won't.
know.
He's not capable of it. He really thinks that he can continue to spin these plates with Keanu, and it's just not going to be a thing that's happening anymore. Like, yeah, it can happen a little bit, but it always ends up back at the same spot again, where Keanu knows that he cannot trust Vince.
All right, well, let's just ask you guys this. Like, do you think that Keanu is going to get betrayed again by Vince? Do you think if Keanu then stays, is he actually going to put the nail in Vince's coffin? Like, give us your thoughts on that, the veto ceremony tomorrow, a whole lot more. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys again so
Thank
much for
you.
80,000 subscribers. Like, we are over the moon. And you can support us further by joining our Patreon. We have a link in the description for that. And thank you so much to all our patrons.
Thank
and
you.
we will see you here next time.